Hello, this is Chris from Those Film Guys. I just got back from seeing Rock of Ages at the cinema. Today actually was the last day that it's showing on our cinema, and it's a film that I've been putting off from seeing for quite a long time, so I thought I'd go and see it to give my opinions on it. I did actually want to go and see this film with huge 80s hair, but I wanted to keep my pride intact, so I did not do that. Plus, I didn't have any hairspray. When I first saw the trailer to this film, before it was released, I was really excited for it because the 80s is probably my favourite decade for music. I'm a massive 80s fan. It's basically the only thing that's on my iPod. And I saw the set list for the film, and every single song I absolutely love. So I was really excited for this film. And I even checked out the Broadway musical set list. The film does cut a few of the Broadway musical songs out, but that's part of the course, I guess, when you're making a film adaptation of it. So what can I say without giving anything away to begin with? There's really only two reasons you'd go and see this film, I think. For the actor factor or the music. The music, as I said, is good. The covers aren't bad. They obviously not as good as the originals, but all the actors look like they're having fun with it, and they try their best with it. And the acting, if you're a Tom Cruise fan, or if you're a Russell Brand fan or Catherine Zeta-Jones fan, you're probably going to go and see this film just to see how they perform in their roles. And for the most part, it's not bad. I had a lot of fun with this film. I came out, I had a smile on my face, I was digging the music, and on the way home, driving back, we put a Journey CD in and listened to it, so it had some lasting impression on us afterwards. So I'd say, without any spoilers, if you like the 80s, if you like the actors involved, if you like musicals, if you like feel-good films, I mean, that's the tagline from the film, nothing but a good time, and it is a good time. It's a fun, leave your brain at the door and appreciate it for what it is, musical. So if you're into that kind of things, I think you'll have a great time with this film. Right, now I'm going into a few spoilers, but nothing huge. I mean, it's a musical. You're not going in for it for the plot, really. So you know how this film ends. It's predictable. It's a generic plot, but most feel-good films are predictable. So if you're not fussed about spoilers, stick with the review because there's not going to be that many. But if you really want to see it and don't want anything spoiled, then it's probably best to turn off now. The brief overview of the plot. There's a girl called Sherry Christian who's from a small town, and she moves from Oklahoma to Los Angeles. And there, as soon as she's there, she meets her perfect love at first sight boyfriend, Drew, who works at a bar called the Bourbon Room. And it's love at first sight, generic. They're going to get together by the end of the film, and they do. So your two main characters, she's moved to LA to kind of be a singer and to be successful and move away from her uneventful life. And Drew is working behind the bar at the Bourbon Room, and he longs of being a rock star. So the two are matched in their, where they want to be in their motives. They both want to be successful and improve on their life. Then in the bar also you have the duo of Russell Brand and Alec Baldwin. And I'm not a fan of Russell Brand. I don't find him funny as a comedian. But I have to say, here he was pretty funny. Him and Alec Baldwin really are just cartoon characters. They're very over the top, and they do that part very well. Every actor in the film plays their part very well, and they look like they've had a lot of fun with it. Alec Baldwin, he's not the best singer in the film, I think it's fair to say, but he does a good performance. It's a lot of fun. We also have Paul Giamatti as Tom Cruise's manager, and he was pretty funny actually. He was one of my favourite ones in it. He plays this very slimy music manager, and he's pretty cool in it. You have Catherine Zeta-Jones, who is probably the main antagonist in the film. She wants to shut down the club, the Bourbon Room, as she thinks that all rock music and all rockers are the devil and are corrupting, the youth, and the only decent way to bring peace back into the town is to close the bar down. But I predicted this going in. She accepts rock and roll at the end, and there's a bit of a character revelation where you find out that she once had a relationship with Tom Cruise's character. And as I say, the plot's generic. You know what's going to happen. But that's part about its charm. It's a film that I wanted to see because I knew that it was going to be a good time, and I had a good time. The main character, other than the lead two, is probably Tom Cruise, who plays this rocker called Stacey Jacks, who's the lead singer of this band called Arsenal, and is singing, actually. I think it was Tom Cruise, actually, who did the singing for his parts. I don't think it was dubbed or anything. He wasn't bad in the covers, actually, Tom Cruise. He was probably one of the best singers in it. I'm assuming he had some kind of vocal training. So that's your basic plot and actors and your characters. Plot-wise, it plays out as you'd expect. The two main love interests, Drew and Sherry, they hit it off. Then there's a part where, there's a misunderstanding between them and they break apart. And your second act of the film is basically this breakup, and then by the third act, they get back together. Rock and roll survives. Stacey Jacks, Tom Cruise's character, is back on his feet and rocking out again. And, you have your resolution that way. And, although you'll probably predict that's how it's going to end, it's nice to just sit back and watch it as it all plays out. One thing I didn't like about the film is that, although the film's meant to be set in 1987, the film didn't feel that 80s. I mean, I know you have the 80s music, but in terms of the costumes and some like the hairstyles and the people's mannerisms, it didn't feel like it was 80s. It felt kind of like a modern day representation of the 80s, and I think that kind of took me out of the film a little bit. It didn't hurt the film for me. I still really liked the film, but I just think that if they'd have made it feel more like it was grounded in the 80s, then I would have enjoyed the film a hell of a lot more, being a huge 80s fan that I am. The music is, for the most part, I really enjoyed the music. That was the main focus point for me in the trailer, that what made me want to see this film was seeing the great set list they had in this film. And you've got music by Foreigner, Def Leppard, Guns N' Roses, Twisted Sister, Whitesnake, all these great bands from the 80s. The set list is absolutely amazing, and every song on the soundtrack I love. I was just a bit annoyed that they cut one of my favourite songs of all time out, The Final Countdown by Europe, which is in the stage show. It wasn't in this film. So, that annoyed me a bit. But, the covers are quite Glee-ish, and I absolutely hate Glee. But you kind of have your mix and match. The main two characters do have this kind of Glee high school musical vibe about them, but then it's balanced with good covers, by Tom Cruise, such as Wanted Dead or Alive by Bon Jovi and Paradise City by Guns N' Roses. Catherine Zeta-Jones, she was in Chicago. She's a very good singer and dancer in it. But for the most part, the songs are quite Glee-ish. But if you can look past that, I don't know why I was able to look past that in this film, considering I absolutely detest Glee with everything of my physical being. But the covers here were really good. I don't know whether it was just the feeling of being in the cinema. You've got the big surround sound speakers. and like the roar of the crowd and the bass from the drum and everything. It was a great time. I went with two of my friends. We were just, singing along to the songs because we're all huge 80s fans. And but the problem is, when we went, there was only two other people in the cinema, and I think if you went with a group of friends and you all had an appreciation for the 80s, but you was in a big crowd in the cinema, I think you would appreciate this film a lot more because you'd have, the hype and everyone enjoying the film and, I don't know, maybe even singing along to it. What I didn't like about the film, there's a subplot between Russell Brand's character and Alec Baldwin's character, which, I don't know, it just kind of felt out of place in the film, and it didn't feel like it needed to be in there. Like, it didn't add anything to the plot. And that subplot is that they, all of a sudden, like, towards the three-quarter mark in the film, profess their love for each other. And, I don't know, it didn't really have any setup before. They both duet the song Can't Fight This Feeling Anymore by Rio Speedwagon. But, I don't know, it just came right the hell out of nowhere, and afterwards, no one spoke of it again, and it didn't have any bearing on the plot, so... I mean, the film's 2 hours long. I've heard a lot of people say that they think it's a bit too long. I don't know, it slows down in the middle a little bit. So, if I was doing an edit, this is the scene I'd probably cut out because it doesn't have, any influence on the plot. But yeah, because the film is generic, and there's nothing wrong with that, I found myself kind of treading water, like, in between songs. I was like, okay, we know how this is going to play out, just get to the next song so we can, all have a sing-along and enjoy the next song. So yeah, the film was quite slow in parts. There's especially a part in the middle which more focuses on the plot side of it, whereas in the film before, the songs do come quite regular and a fast pace, so you're always not so far around the corner from the next song. But in the middle, it does slow down a bit when there's a big lapse in the time between the songs. So, I don't know, I would have probably added another song in the middle somewhere just to break it up a bit. But, that didn't destroy the film for me. It was just a change I would make. So, I've rambled on for this film for quite a long time. My final closing thoughts. This film isn't going to win any Oscars. I've checked the box office that it's raked in so far, and I don't think it's made its budget back. I think it's quite a lot away from it, which is a shame because it is a good feel-good film. If you like musicals, and I think the real people who will enjoy this are people who either grew up with or have, a passion for the music of the 80s. This is the musical for you. You've got the actor factor with it. If you're a Tom Cruise fan, if you're an Alec Baldwin fan, or, a Russell Brand fan, you'll probably go and see this to see what they're like. And, their characters are cartoonish and over the top, but that's what makes the film enjoyable. But yeah, Rock of Ages, I had a blast. I will buy this film on Blu-ray when it comes out. It was a really good time. I had a lot of fun. And that's basically my review on Rock of Ages. I hope to have a few more reviews up in the not too distant future. So until then, thanks for watching.